Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today, we're taking a look at one of the most legendary dive watches from one of the most legendary brands when it comes to dive watches, the Doxa SUB, or to be more precise, Doxa SUB 300T, which is the current and one of the first models since Doxa SUB was taken over by the original owners, the Jenny family. For those who don't know, Doxa was really big in the 60s and 70s thanks to their sub line of models that included the original SUB 300T, which was the first commercially available dive watch with a helium release valve that Doxa co-developed with Rolex. Known for their screaming orange dials, Doxa SUB soon became an icon in the dive world and was a favorite among divers, including Jacques Cousteau himself. This purpose-built dive watch was not versatile enough to be worn on a suit like the Rolex Submariner, which may have hurt sales with regular people, but also cemented its status among divers. Just like most brands in the 70s, the quartz crisis hit Doxa and they almost died completely. For people in the US, that is where Doxa history stops, only to be revived in the early 2000s. But for those in the Eastern Europe, Doxa made and still makes generic, unexciting quartz watches that look like any China made-to-order watch brand out there. Sadly, the owners just didn't realize the potential they had with the SUB model, and the rise in popularity of mechanical watches, especially vintage-inspired dive models. One SUB lover and collector saw the potential and bought the rights to the SUB model for the duration of 20 years. That person is Marei, and he is the man responsible for the revival of the brand and for the fact Doxa SUB can still be found on wrists of both watch lovers and divers even today. When he bought the rights, he started making models true to the original vintage pieces. His models were usually done in a limited batches, with each being numbered. He also revolutionized the way we purchase watches, as he was one of the first to sell watches directly to the customers. But what stood out the most was the incredible level of quality and attention to detail. The bezel action of those Marei Doxas is still considered to be one of the best in the watch world. So after the 20 years have passed and the contract expired, which was on July 31st of 2019, Jenny family, the original owners, realized they were sitting on a gold mine that was found, dug up, and made completely operational by Rick. So in a business world fashion, they refused to renew the contract and simply took over the whole operation. That left a sour taste for many Doxa fans out there, as they consider Rick the true father of modern Doxa, and his models are referred to as Marei era subs. Well, this 300T is one of the first models offered by the new Doxa. I was originally going to get the 1200T, as it is the last of the Marei era models, but since it was limited, it got sold out pretty quickly, and you can only get one used. They pop up from time to time, but the prices are always pretty steep. I got this one used as well, and got a pretty good deal on it, so I decided to give it a shot. Currently, this is the only smaller Doxa SUB available, and unlike Rick's models, gone are the days of numbered and limited models. Now, the 300T has become a regular production model that will always be available. Well, this exact watch is kinda limited, as it is a 50th anniversary model, but it isn't numbered, so we cannot know how limited it really is. And it is in no way different to the regular 300T, other than the inscription on the caseback that says it is limited. The watch itself is incredibly beautiful and perfectly sized. Despite the rather large diameter of 44 mm, thanks to the cushion-shaped case, it has a very short lug-to-lug of just 45, which in combination with a rather small dial makes it wear much smaller than the specs would suggest. So no matter how small your wrist is, you will have no problems wearing a 44 mm Doxa SUB. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. Unlike the 1200T, this model comes with this flared-out beads of rice bracelet. Because of the wider part, to stop it from hitting and scratching the case, Doxa gave it an almost fixed connecting piece that holds the bracelet and end links together. That means the bracelet goes outwards a bit before it can go down, which makes it look odd and frankly very ugly on smaller wrists like mine. For reference, my wrist is 6.7 inches. The 1200T, thanks to regular width bracelet, has a fully articulating connecting piece, making the bracelet look much nicer on smaller wrists. So despite having an excellent beads of rice bracelet with solid links, and screws instead of pins, I cannot love it because of the stupid fixed length. Where this bracelet shines compared to 1200T is the clasp. Not only is it more substantial being fully machined, but it also features Rolex-styled ratcheting diver's extension that makes day-to-day comfort just incredible, as you can adjust the clasp in small increments on the go. The rest of the watch is your typical Doxa. Cushion-shaped with a combination of polished and brushed surfaces. Typical Doxa bezel with a patented no decompression scale and really great action. It is easy to operate thanks to sawtooth-styled grip, and the only thing that I dislike about it is that mine also has some lateral movement when you wiggle it, something I read new models suffer from. Sadly, Doxa says that is normal, but I tried my other divers and none of them has this much play. But back to the good stuff. The dial that shows how an offset logo is done. Christopher Ward, are you listening? With the Doxa automatic in the upper left, and model and dial variant written in the lower right, it looks interesting but still balanced. On this variant, called Shark Hunter, the dial is inky black. It is glossy and looking at it is like looking into a black hole. I prefer orange dials when it comes to Doxas, but I have to admit this is one of the most attractive black dials I have seen, not to mention it is incredibly legible. Helping the legibility is a flat sapphire crystal with inner AR coating. My favorite, as it gives a clear view of the dial at any angle. The signature hands are easy to distinguish as the hour hand is dwarfed, giving the minute hand the whole stage, as that is the hand you use when diving. Not only is the minute hand larger and reaching all the way to the bezel for easier elapsed time tracking, but it is also brightly orange, making it stand out and giving a nod to the orange-faced brethren. Personally, I love the color scheme on this and don't even mind the orange-colored fish logo on the crown, as it matches the minute hand. The crown itself is protected by the case and is easy to grip as it mimics the teeth of the bezel. The movement powering this is an ETA 2824 that beats away 28,800 bph and comes with both hacking and hand winding. So all in all, a very solidly built watch that has pretty much only one weakness, which is lume. It is not bad, but it's definitely not what I expected. My dressy Seiko 5 has better and longer lasting lume than this. The only properly lumed area is the minute hand that is visibly brighter, while the lumed pip on the bezel is not even worth mentioning, as it becomes invisible within minutes. I have to admit I was disappointed with that. With a price of just under $2,000, if we look at it objectively, the watch is very expensive for what it offers, especially today. But real objective value and the price people are willing to pay are two very different things in watch collecting. I'm first to admit that I would gladly pay that price if the watch had the same bracelet as the 1200T, because I simply adore the way this thing looks. So maybe I'll try to hunt down a 1200T, but if I do, it will definitely be the orange-dialed professional version. Well, that completes this week's review, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.